Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an SU-100Y. It's a Tier 6 Soviet premium tank destroyer. It's located on the North Spawner Steppes, and this one is under the command of Htomptid. Okay, this is the famous box tank. I think it was actually Quickie Baby who gave it its name. And it's armed with a 13cm naval gun, capable of doing 440 alpha with standard ammo and 196mm of pen, and it'll do less pen with the premium, but it does more damage. 100 and... whoa, get that figure up. There you go, 510 alpha with the premium rounds and 171mm of pen. So slightly less, but more damage. Okay. Strip M4257, first shot. Oh, we got a fire. Oh, that was a big hit, but unfortunately took a round back from the BDR G1B, who was pre-aimed in this direction to try and get some damage. Obviously, he knew that somebody was going to pop up next to the rock, and he probably guessed that it would be the box tank. Now, it is fairly thin on the turret, the actual armour. The casement, I should say, rather than a turret, because it's not a turret. But it is very powerful. It's based on the T-100 heavy tank, and it was made during the Winter War. They designed it to neutralize the enemy fortifications, but it never got put into production. There was only one prototype, and that prototype now resides at the Kubinka Tank Museum in Moscow. Now, it's not particularly fast. It's only 35 kilometers an hour maximum speed, but it is quite a heavy puncher when it comes to damage. And it also stands up fairly prominent because it's actually quite tall, so it's easy to spot. You can see why this tank destroyer wasn't actually put into production, really, because it was just a little too easy for the enemy to actually see you and get hits on you. And that thin casement, the armor, is only 60mm thick, you see, so just about any of the tanks that it sees at tier 6 or below will probably still be able to penetrate it. In fact, this is a tier 7 game, and he's tier 6, so he's middle tier. Now, he's noticed there's a number of enemy tanks coming from that direction, but he's occupying this position because if he turns to the right, he can actually shoot at the enemy tanks that happen to be coming up the west side of the map. Now, he fired blind at that target, or at the tree rather, just in the off chance there might be somebody there. But you can see now, turning to the right, he can spot in that direction, but he doesn't really have any spotters other than the bishop. And he doesn't have a very good view range. His view range is only about 260 meters. In fact, the bishop just took a big hit, so somebody, and he's out the game. Yeah, Panther M10 is over in that direction, so we know that there are enemy tanks over there, and they saw the bishop and took him out. So there's the Panther M10, and now we've got an AMX M445. Takes one through the turret. Okay, he wasn't spotted, so he's okay. You can go again. Standard reload, 15.34 seconds. That one went through the engine deck. 478. Of course, that's a high roll. He's just hovering here on the edge, waiting for the reload to go through so he can pop up and put another shot in. The M445 is technically a one-shot now, but he needs to take that guy out. Puts one into the Panther. Gets a low roll this time for 413. Notice how he's holding on for dear life on the edge of this rise. This is a very good position for fighting against enemy tanks in the cap. Hey, can't get a shot on that guy, but he'd certainly take a round into that M4 and take him out of the game. Trying to find the right spot to hit. Well, no, that didn't work. It was the wrong angle. No, he went too far and he slid off the edge. And that's going to kind of cause him problems now, because he has to leave that position and use a different one instead. Okay, he's switching rounds to an HE round. So the HE is actually slightly more damage. 580 alpha and 65mm of pen. So he fired another one downrange at the trees, and the off chance he does hit somebody on the enemy team. Oh, there's the enemy tanks that were up there. Now he's going to go after the Panther M10. He can't get a shot. So I think he's actually now changed his mind about how he's going to fight this one. And he's going to provide support to his teammates who are trying to travel south. They're down by 3 at the moment. Oh, no, he's changed his mind again. He's actually going to fight from this area and see what he can do. Okay, there's the Panther M10. He can't get a shot there for the moment. Can he hit that Cromwell? Yes, he can. Oh, big hit. 466. Of course, the VK3001H did fire one back, but luckily he's only firing the 75mm. If it had been the 105mm, that would have been a different story altogether. He's trying to fool them about where he's going to pop up next. Now, is there an enemy vehicle up on that high? Well, the M445 is getting closer and closer. So he's going to use this tree which he knocked down earlier. And oh, the enemy is getting really close. He's got armor piercing loaded. And he gets the guy, takes him out. Well, somebody is now capping, and apparently it's the Cromwell B. Enemy Arty. Ooh. Now, enemy Arty are particularly effective with box tanks because, of course, they are rather big. They're fairly slow, and of course, they've got a fairly weak armor, which makes it fairly easy to get pen. Okay. Yes, gets a reset on the Cromwell. Okay, so he's switching rounds back to the AP. Now, the reason he did this, I think, was mainly because he was worried about what might be coming up from the east side. The enemy might try to advance in this direction. In fact, he was right. The IKV-65-2 has just suddenly appeared. He's popped up to have a quick look. He's popped back down again. And this is where he's going to position himself. Behind the T-3485. Whoa. Changed his mind again. And this time round he's loaded the AP again. Would have been a good idea to actually load the HE for the IKV because you would have taken him out, but he doesn't have much in the way of hit points anyway, that IKV, and he's worried about popping up here because the IKV might spot him. That Panther M10's still there. And the T-3485M finishes off the IKV, but unfortunately the Panther M10 just killed our BZ-58. Okay, somebody just spotted us, and I just saw where the chaser from one of the enemy RT was coming, so one of them's down in the corner. They have a Hummel and a Gorilla. Oh, rumble of Arty. In fact, actually, the shell landed behind us. And it looks like it's a Hummel with a stock gun. It was actually firing from just on the other side of this hill. Okay, I think Htomptid's going to go around and take him out first. He's not so worried about the cap. There's the... Oh, it's the Gorilla! And there's the... Oh, VK3001H was up there. He'll take care of that guy first. And he did take some damage from an enemy Hummel. But it's the Gorilla that was actually behind the hill. He's trying to make it difficult. Oh, one shot. Okay, now just needs to get rid of that Hummel. He's still trying to land shells on us. There he is. Okay, now if we can get this, we get a Pascucci's. Has he got a shot? Yes, he has. Doesn't get it. He's in the dip. There's only 3 left on the enemy team. So it's the Leopard and the Panther M10 are supposedly up north, but I think they'll be headed south very shortly because they don't want to lose their cap. Okay, we're reloading an HE, and he gets him with one shot, and that means he's got a Pascucci's and 4 kills now. So the battle has been turned around. They were down on the enemy, and now they're up on the enemy. He's reloading armor piercing. It may have been the VK3001H that he was actually trying to blind fire from the trees. He was around this area. Now, can he spot the enemy? His view range is 350 meters. Oh, well, one of them's turned up. The Leopard is over to the west. Well, we've not been spotted by the enemy, but I don't think that Panther M10 will stay up there for very long. The arc of the gun, by the way, is 10 degrees either side of the center line, so I haven't got much to work with, but it does dial in fairly quickly. Okay, this is a much better position. He's made himself a nice little bit of cover here. You don't want to go too far forward to try and spot the enemy. The enemy might spot you. Okay, 2-minute warning. The Panther M10 is over on the west side of the map. He is the last enemy alive. Now he's reloading, and he's actually loaded the HE. And the main reason for doing that, of course, is the Panther M10 has only got 78 hit points left. So even landing around near him is actually going to be quite devastating to him. Okay, 2 of them in the cap, and the Panther M10 goes down, which means they've won the game. Here's the end of battle results, and that was an ace tanker game for Htomptid in the SU-100Y, the box tank. He managed to get a 5 for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle, fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills, he got 4 exactly, duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, in fact he got 7, and he got a hand of gold for surviving the battle having received damage from at least 4 different enemy tanks, a Pascucci's medal for killing 2 enemy SPGs in the game, the Gorilla and then the Hummel, and he got a brothers in arms because he platooned with somebody else who had at least 3 kills, and on top of that he got the high caliber as well. His win rate from that game, 19,964, which is super unicum and a lot more. Let's have a look at team score. Well, he definitely got the highest damage with 4,759 hit points. The next highest scorer being the T-3485M, who got 2,365. He also got a Leather Slayer's Medal, the Brothers in Arms, and of course the Top Gun, because he managed to get 6 kills. In fact, in the end, he got 7. And when it came to the third place on damage, his win rate, by the way, is 7,466. So not a bad performance by T-3485M. Third highest damage was the BZ-58, who managed to get 2,069 hit points of damage. When it came to kills, it was the T-3485M. Ichbin Yes, he got 7 kills in the game, one short of getting a Radley's. I think he must have been kicking himself at the end of the game that he didn't get more kills to get that medal. 4 kills went to Htomptid, and 2 kills went to the BZ-58 and the Steel Waffenträger on the enemy team, their Panther M10, the MX M445, the Leopard, and their Cromwell. So they had a lot of players who were fairly good, but in the end, of course, they were beaten by a trio of players on this team, which was much better. When it came to base XP, it's Htomptid who got the highest with 1,708. In second place, we've got the T-3485M with 1,514. Both of those were the only two who managed to get over 1,000 base in the game, with the next highest scorer being the BZ-58 with 780. Htomptid fired 15 rounds in the game, got 11 direct hits on the enemy and 11 penetrations. Damage of 4,759 hit points, of which 3,904 were at more than 300 meters. He received 4 hits from the enemy. All 3 penetrated, I'm afraid, because the armor, as I said, is very thin, especially the casement. It's fairly easy to see. And he also got 3 hits by way of splash damage as well, including shots from the enemy Arty. And of course, there were some tanks that were actually firing HE at him instead, thinking, yeah, they'll get through the armor. Not really. It's a bit thick for HE, but it's certainly, it can be penetrated by Arty, depending on the right circumstances where you land the shell. And 3 enemy vehicles were spotted, 9 enemy vehicles damaged, 4 killed, and he got 117 hit points of damage assistance, and he got 6 capture points, as well as 43 defense points in the game. On a premium count, he earned a profit of 54,530 credits for the game. He got 25 bonds for a mission achievement, and he also took away 3,331 experience points as well from the game. So not a bad game in the box tank. It's difficult to play because, of course, it's fairly obvious. So most players, when they see it, they say, oh, we'll hit that. Because, of course, it can't run away very fast. It's only 35 kilometers an hour, which makes it perfect as an RT target. But the thing about the box tank is it's that gun. It's very, very deadly, that 13 centimeter. And if the player knows what they're doing and they switch between the right ammo at the right moment, they can get a lot of damage on the enemy and also pick up things like high calibers and other medals. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.